Let's talk about something that pretty much all of us deal with, but maybe we don't fully understand. Procrastination. Why do we put off the things we absolutely know we need to do? Let's dive right in and explore what's really going on. Okay, so right off the bat, let's just clear something up. We've got to get this idea out of our heads. Procrastination is not some kind of character flaw. It is not a sign that you're lazy. It's something else entirely. And this is the central idea we really need to wrap our heads around. The reason you put things off is because your brain is, it's actually trying to protect you. It's a safety mechanism that's just got a little bit haywire.
But that protective instinct, as well-intentioned as it is, can seriously backfire. It can hold us back from the very things we want to achieve. So, truly understanding this, that's the absolute first step to taking back control. So let's reframe this whole problem, shall we? It's time to move away from blaming ourselves and start digging into what's actually going on under the hood. All right, so here's the absolute heart of it. We've always been told that procrastination is a time management problem, right? Get a better calendar, make a to-do list, but it's not. It is actually an emotional regulation problem. Think about it. You're not avoiding the task itself. You're avoiding the negative feelings that the task brings up. You're not actually avoiding that big spreadsheet. You're avoiding the feeling of boredom or maybe the confusion that looking at it causes. And that leads to a really, really important question you can ask yourself the next time you feel that pull to put something off. Just stop for a second and ask, what feeling am I actually trying to avoid right now?
And when you do ask that question, the answers, they usually fall into a few familiar buckets. It could be the stress of a big deadline coming up, or that feeling of uncertainty when you're starting something brand new. Maybe it's a deep-seated fear that you're not going to be good enough. Or sometimes it's just plain old boredom from a really tedious task. See, your brain looks at all of these feelings as a kind of threat to your immediate comfort. So when your brain senses one of those uncomfortable feelings, what does it do? Well, it has a very simple, very powerful tool to handle it. It just looks for the quickest escape it can find. Now, this is where it gets really fascinating, because this slide lays out the internal battle perfectly. Your brain, it is just wired to choose what feels good right now. That little hit of dopamine you get from scrolling through your phone, that's instant. But the reward for studying for that exam or finishing that report, that's hours, maybe even days away. So from your brain's perspective, it's making a totally logical choice for comfort in this very moment. And here's the kicker. Every single time you make that choice, you're actually strengthening a neural pathway. You're teaching your brain a really simple lesson over and over again. Hard work equals discomfort, and that easy distraction, that equals relief. And over time, that just becomes this powerful automatic habit. And while that chemical explanation is a huge piece of the puzzle, a lot of the time the roots of our procrastination go way, way deeper into our psychology. So let's take a look at 3 of the most common hidden drivers. Think of these as these deep psychological traps that can really keep us stuck. This first one, this is a big one. It's all about protecting our ego. See, if you never fully try, you can never truly fail, right? By not starting, you get to hang on to this story that you're capable, you're smart, you just chose not to do it. It keeps the potential for success alive without ever having to risk the reality of failure. And the second trap, perfectionism. We tell ourselves we're just waiting for the perfect time to start, or we need more information, or we're waiting for that bolt of inspiration to strike. But let's be honest, most of the time it's just a fancy way of avoiding the messiness and discomfort of an imperfect beginning. You gotta remember this. Perfectionism isn't really about having high standards. It's just fear dressed up in a nice suit. And this right here, this shows you just how powerful our sense of identity is. If you walk around telling yourself, I'm a procrastinator, you're literally handing your brain a script to follow. And what does it do? It goes looking for evidence to prove you right. So if you want to change the behavior, you have to start by changing the story you're telling yourself about who you are. So when you mix that instant dopamine escape with these deep psychological traps, you get caught in what I call the procrastination pain loop. And it's this nasty self-feeding cycle that can make you feel completely and utterly stuck. Let's just walk through it together. Step 1, you put something off. That procrastination naturally leads to feelings of guilt and shame. Step 2, that guilt creates more stress and anxiety about the very task you're avoiding. Step 3, and what does our brain want to do when it feels stressed? It wants to avoid that feeling, which of course leads you right back to step 1, more procrastination. And the loop just gets tighter and tighter. Okay, so knowing all of that, how in the world do we get out? Well, the answer isn't about muscling through it or fighting harder. It's about being a little smarter and, maybe more importantly, a little gentler with ourselves.
You see, trying to use brute force, just raw willpower, against such a powerful emotional reaction, it's exhausting. And honestly, it usually doesn't work. The real solution starts with something much simpler. Just noticing what's happening without judging yourself for it.
So here's a really simple 3-step process you can use to break that loop. First, just notice the emotion. Name it. Is it boredom? Is it fear? Then, step 2, instead of immediately running away from it, just allow yourself to feel it. Sit with that discomfort for, say, 5 minutes. Don't act on it, just observe it. And finally, step 3, start incredibly small. Commit to just 10 minutes of action. You don't have to finish the whole project, just work on it for 10 minutes. Because action is the ultimate antidote to anxiety.
And you know what this simple process also does? Something incredibly important. Every time you procrastinate, you're breaking a small promise to yourself. And over time, that really wears down your self-trust. But by you build that trust. And that trust, that's the real foundation of discipline in the long run. So as we start to wrap this up, I really want to leave you with one final thought, a kinder way to look at this whole thing. Just remember where we started this whole conversation. Procrastination isn't some kind of moral feeling. It's a biological, psychological drive for comfort. And the goal isn't to get rid of that drive, but to learn to recognize it. Maybe even thank your brain for trying to keep you safe, and then consciously choose to take one small step into that discomfort, because that's where all the growth happens. So from now on, the next time you feel that pull to delay something, try not to see it as a flaw that you need to crush. Instead, see it as a signal from your brain. Ask yourself, what is this trying to tell me? Am I afraid? Am I bored? Am I just not clear on what to do next? Listen to that signal, understand its message, and then, gently, take that next small step forward anyway.